Done.
All right. Thank you. All right, everyone. My name is Whitney Akinola, and welcome to the IQ MuleSoft study group. And today we have special guests behind called Between Two Mules, and that is Ishmeet and Shubham. And we're so excited because they're going to talk about how to cross train in MuleSoft for Salesforce professionals. Right. So here's the agenda. We're going to kind of switch it around, but this is the agenda for our friends from Between Two Mules. But what is MuleSoft? Understanding the need for integrations, dive into MuleSoft and resources to get you started with MuleSoft. But before that, we're going to skip ahead and we're going to allow Ryan to talk about some integration quest labs. So I'm going to fast forward here. Oh, but before we start, we have an IQ code of conduct. That's my little guy in the background. I'm sorry. We have an IQ code of conduct. So pretty much, if your mom and dad would have told you not to do it, just don't do it. So no funny drawings. We want to keep this environment, this learning environment pretty safe. So now I'm going to go on mute and allow Ryan to tell you about the MuleSoft RPA lab environment.
All right, that's cool. Hello, everybody. Yeah, so if you're getting into MuleSoft, I know some of you are already quite into MuleSoft like me, and some of you might not be already into it. Coming from we thought um, this whole study group would be kind of a neat way for people to find out about MuleSoft coming from the Salesforce ecosystem after a bunch of us met at TDX. So you guys can wave if you're on camera, or come on camera and wave, or you could do the little reactions. That's kind of the genesis of this. We realized how many of the Salesforce people were out there wanting to find more about MuleSoft. And it's funny because we have been trying to find out more about Salesforce. The MuleSoft muleys have. Now, Shubham and Ismeet are way ahead of me on that. And I can tell that because they did a bunch of talks at the three different Trailblazer talks that were really good for this kind of a study environment. So, what we do at the IQ study group is what we do at IQ is we try to encourage continuous learning as like a way of life. Like I always keep learning new things. I've been doing software for 25 years. I'm not done. I was learning I was doing some Kubernetes stuff last night. I was doing some neural network stuff on the weekend. You have to stay in the space of learning forever. And I want to try to invite you guys and the rest of the community to do that with me. Like I think we can continue to stay sharp and stay the top of our craft as long as we stay curious and get our now it's not just going to classes. I teach classes. That's what Integration Quest does. We teach classes, but you can't just do classes. You can't just do stuff somebody plans ahead for you. You got to just go out there and try your own ideas somehow, right? So one of the areas I was excited about after the last study group on robotic process automation, after KJ did the whole showed us like how you really use it, I wanted to it's one thing to see somebody else's demo, but I want to get my hands on it and try it out. So we couldn't. There's no sandboxes for RPA. If you go on Trailblazer and try to make a sandbox, there's not one. So Diane, are you still here? She's still here. She got she's a lot more brave than me. She said, "All right, I guess there's not a sandbox. Let's go buy one." So Integration Quest bought one, and we have RPA now, and we're happy to share it with you guys. Now it costs a lot of money, so we aren't giving it away for free. Instead, you go on our website and you can get like a short or a long access. We still are trying to see what people want to do. If you want to get your hands on and learn how to automate stuff, we have a full-blown commercial customer copy of RPA for you to try out with. Try out to use. You can use RPA Builder, and it's not just RPA. When you get RPA, you have the web interface and you have the way to run the bots, but you need the VM to run. Now, some of you have Windows machines of your own. You could try to do it on your laptop, but it's something else. Like when you do RPA at a real company, you're going to have cloud virtual machines that's where the bots run. So what we did was we set some of those up too. So when you get the lab environment, you get RPA that you get to come hang out in our RPA environment with us. And you also get a VM to run the bots on. And Diane and I stayed up all weekend making those VMs. It was kind of more work than we expected to, because you got to get it like accessible from the internet and generate logins and like ready for you guys to use to actually and I think didn't we pre-installed all the RPA software on there because I don't think learning it is learning about installing the software. That seems like a kind of not the most fun part of the learning. So we pre-installed RPA Builder and RPA Bot, and you just go learn how to do stuff with RPA. So that's what this is. I think, is there a link on the next slide, anybody, or do we just have to tell them to go to our website? Is there a QR code or something?
Once we switch over, I'll put the links and everything in the
Great.
chat.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we're just trying to make it possible for people to get hands-on and learn things. Now, this is just one little part of MuleSoft. Some of you Salesforce folks coming, RPA is this brand new thing MuleSoft is doing. And what I'm going to hand it over to Between Two Mules. They have, if you haven't seen their YouTube channel, they have got a ton of very helpful videos that are well, why don't you guys tell them about your videos? Um, I might not do it justice, but it's a great you have like a what 2,000 subscribers?
So should we start with them now? Okay,
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
go back. Yeah. All right.
Great. Thanks, Ryan, for the almost amazing and coolest introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Smith Kaur. I am one of the founders of Between Two Mules. I run Between Two Mules with Shubham over here, who will be my co-presenter. We do a lot of MuleSoft videos, which does not only teach you how to do MuleSoft, how to learn MuleSoft, but it also covers a lot more, like a lot more MuleSoft related events and all the fun insights about the community. If you're not able to make it to any event, and if we can, we try to cover it up and post it all online so you know what goes in and around on an event, and maybe you'll be tempted to come the next time. And we also post a lot of videos about beginner-friendly MuleSoft, but also at the same time, a lot of topics are such that we use those in our day-to-day lives and our day-to-day integrations and real life scenarios. And with that, let me introduce a little bit about myself. So I am a principal consultant. I work with Optima. I'm a 2024 MuleSoft cohort, MuleSoft ambassador. I was a mentor, I don't know if that's still valid, meetup leader. Yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I'll hand it over to Shubham.
Thank you, Smith. Hello, everyone. My name is Shubham. I am a senior integration engineer at a fintech company called Carta. And I'm also, similar to Smith, the MuleSoft ambassador and MuleSoft meetup leader for Montreal region. And super excited to be here and present this topic, streamlining MuleSoft to Salesforce developer-friendly guide. So I guess we can move forward with me with our slides. And the very first slide that we will cover is the agenda for today.
Before that, I just want to talk something. Just want to let you know what we're bringing out to you today. Just want to outline stuff. So you must have seen like a lot of learn MuleSoft 101. What is MuleSoft? Why do you need MuleSoft? Like just straight up MuleSoft videos teaching you how to learn that without giving you the context, without understanding your positioning, without understanding why are you learning that? Are you just learning it because it's a new technology for you? Are you just learning because you want to learn integrations? What is your stance in that? So keeping that in mind, we created this presentation, and this was one of the presentations we presented this year at TDX. The stance from Salesforce developers' perspective. How can we make learning MuleSoft easy for the Salesforce developers, and how we can blur the line between Salesforce, learning Salesforce and learning MuleSoft? Because if Salesforce bought MuleSoft and they wanted to blur the lines and they're bringing everything, all their products under one umbrella, Why shouldn't we blur our lines and try to learn and step into each other's technology to just understand better and do a better job at our work when we understand both the tools? So this here is a presentation with a twist to all our Salesforce-centric people who are joining us today. How you can learn, what are the similarities, why you should even look at learning MuleSoft. And with that, Shubham, over to you again.
Yeah. Thank you, Smith.
One second. I've made you guys co-host, so you can share your own screen. If that would be, that'd probably be better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay. And in the meantime, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to raise your hands and ask the question. We invite all the questions even in the middle of our presentation. We'll do a live demo. So even throughout that, if you have any questions, just stop us and raise your hand.
Perfect. You guys can give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen, and I'll be moving forward. Perfect. So the agenda for today is we will be starting with what is MuleSoft. We will be giving you guys a brief introduction of what MuleSoft entails. Moving forward, we will be also showcasing the need for integrations. Why do we need integrations in enterprise and like in startup companies as well? After that, we'll be straight away diving into MuleSoft resources and demo. And then last but not least, we will be showing you guys how to get started with MuleSoft and start your journey with MuleSoft. So let's start with our very first slide. What is MuleSoft? MuleSoft, to those who don't know, MuleSoft is an integration platform that enables seamless communication across complex digital ecosystems. One of its fundamental is its API-led approach that empowers businesses to unify, different systems, automate workflows, and also enhance customer experiences. So to sum it up, MuleSoft provides a comprehensive set of tools for designing, developing, and deploying your complex integrations. Some of the advantages of MuleSoft is since MuleSoft offers intensely evolved suite of tools, you can not only use intelligent interfaces to create your integrations, but you can also use generative flows to leverage the generative power of Einstein. So that's right. You can also include Einstein, which is a Salesforce latest product, in MuleSoft, and leverage that to build and automate your workflows. Moving forward with the wide variety of tools offered under MuleSoft banner, you can connect any systems, applications, or data as needed. It is not just a middleware integration tool, but a lot more. MuleSoft also enhances your experience of creating automations. You can build end-to-end automations using MuleSoft Composer, which is one of the products of MuleSoft. Then we have MuleSoft RPA, as Ryan mentioned. You can use that to create automations, which are based on clicks and not. But if you want to focus on MuleSoft as an iPaaS, they have a studio where you can build integrations with clicks and not code as well, and also use their transformation language, which is called DataWeave, which we are very excited to show you guys today. Having said that, now over to Ismi, then she'll be deep diving into MuleSoft and telling you guys how important integrations are. Over to you, Ismi.
Thank you, Shubham. But before we deep dive a little bit into looking at the similarities between Salesforce and MuleSoft, let's recap what Shubham just told us, right? So what I could make out of from whatever Shubham told us was that MuleSoft is a tool to resolve our crisis whenever we have a crisis of integrating stuff, making the connectivity easier, making it faster and flexible. It's not just your normal regular ETL, it's a lot more. It gives you the capabilities to manage your APIs, create new APIs, do very heavy and strong data transformations, gives you a whole suite of management of how you can manage your APIs, gives you multiple deployment strategies. And with all of that, it gives us the ease of doing the integration with the plug and play model. You don't have to learn a lot of coding. Yes, coding is important. Being an integration specialist with MuleSoft is a little bit tech heavy compared to Salesforce. But if you are very well versed with Apex, if you're an Apex developer, an integration architect within Salesforce, you should be able to grasp all of it within no problem and no issues. So basically, MuleSoft is allowing us to align all of our complex integration needs with our business goals and align and achieve what we want to achieve very fast. Moving on. Well, let's talk about some of the similarities, right? Of how, if I am a Salesforce developer, how can I make my learning of MuleSoft easier? So here, if you are somebody who works on Salesforce, you must be in line with the idea of flows. You know what flows are in Salesforce. And the good thing is, even in MuleSoft, we use the same analogy. We use flows to build our integrations and orchestrate it. So basically, it's the same concept in Salesforce and MuleSoft with a little bit of technical differences. And we also build it to create integrations or automations, orchestrate real-time workflows. And yes, they are a little bit different on how they work, but it's the same foundation. And the best part is along all the different tool suites of MuleSoft, all of them follow the same strategy of flows. So it's not that you just understand sales flows once and then you don't know if something else is being used in RPA or Composer. No, it's all the same. Everywhere we're trying to build flows, and we are trying to enhance our integration capabilities. So with that, this is a very great start. And with that, moving on. So if you are a Salesforce developer, you must know the concept of Apex to design and configure your Salesforce orgs better, right? And you all must write your code in Apex in Salesforce. So what MuleSoft has is a language of its own called DataWeave, like Salesforce has its language Apex. DataWeave is now an open source language which can be plugged in using a namespace in your Apex code. So so now you can pull your DataWeave libraries, plug it in your Apex code, and start doing your using DataWeave to do data transformations. DataWeave, before I move forward, I should tell you, DataWeave is an lightweight data transformation model which supports almost all of the MIME types that you might be aware of. JSON, XML, CSV, POJO, text, octet stream, anything. And it gives you the comfort of transforming your data from one to the other very easily. So you can leverage DataWeave within your Salesforce ecosystem and your Apex world to start manipulating your data as you need it. You don't have to go online, search for an Apex snippet of code, and do very complex transformations to be able to transform your data. You can start by using DataWeave, and this will give you like a very nice leeway and very nice transition to use from Apex to DataWeave. And once you're comfortable with DataWeave, half of your work is done, and you will be very easily be able to transform your data and complete your mappings, right? So you don't have to now go and search for to transform your data online. Try this next time when you're in the ecosystem and very familiar space for yourself, and that should be able to help you learn MuleSoft faster. But if you're still not convinced that you will be able to learn MuleSoft with so many similarities we've talked about, let's start talking about accelerators. So MuleSoft basically is trying to provide all the available tools that it can for your success, for you to succeed in achieving your task, for you to succeed in learning how to create integrations, be comfortable on, being able to create integrations. So what MuleSoft does is it has its own sort of marketplace, which is called Exchange, MuleSoft Exchange, Anypoint Exchange. Then MuleSoft has a lot of resources, which are most of them are almost free to download once you have created a trial account, even with a trial account, but once you have an account. Think of it as a library of resources which you can reuse. So MuleSoft works on the fundamentals of reusability. And as I said, it's trying to make you succeed in what you want to do. So MuleSoft itself, as the organization, has hosted tons of accelerators and templates there, which you can easily download. And then you can start manipulating and modifying them to create your integrations. So I spoke a lot about being able to download, but what are accelerators? I did not tell you that. So think of it as integration templates where it gives you most of them you'll see are based on the use case scenario. So you might actually just find your exact use case there, and it'll give you a starting point, its whole little portion of data transformation and all the logic and implementation, and the endpoint connectors. All you have to do is go in, change the mappings, let's say, to your needs, put in your configurations of the connectors, the username, password, your endpoint URLs, and just download all the necessary libraries if they are not there, and run it, and you can just simply deploy it on your runtime manager. So with that, it's really pushing you to learn integrations and also like succeed in your business, right? And make it faster. So you don't have to write all the things from scratch all the time. Might be that you find your use case there on the templates and accelerators, download it, and finish your integration in half the amount of time, because now you just have to configure stuff. And because they are MuleSoft, they're built by MuleSoft and its organization, most of them are following the best industry standard best practices. So you don't have to worry about, oh, but what about the best practice? I'm new to it. I don't know how it works, right? You don't have to worry about that as well. Just customize it, download it, customize it, and just go with it. Passing the mic on back to Shubham.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I think right now we're just moving into demo, aren't we?
Yes, yeah. So before we jump into the demo, I would like to take a pause and see if anybody has any question, and we can take that right now.
Question: if you guys can let us know how many of you are Salesforce on the Salesforce side, Salesforce developers, architects, and how many of you are on MuleSoft, and if you have any experience in MuleSoft, and what's that? You can just put it in a chat just so Ishmi and Shubham will know.
We got like some Salesforce folks, so that's very good. That was our whole point to do this presentation.
And even here, if you have any recommendations on going faster or slower, or any other recommendations, we welcome them, and we are very happy to change our pace according to what you expect and need. Wow, we have a lot of Salesforce.
Perfect. I think we have a lot of Salesforce folks, so we are very excited to present you this demo. This will be an introduction to MuleSoft and how you can leverage their design center to build, API RAMLs and then their Anypoint Studio, which is their on-premises integration platform, which you can use to build your complex integrations using clicks and not code. So having said that, we will be moving into our MuleSoft demo. So Ismeet, I think you will be sharing your screen.
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing my screen.
Give me 1 second. I'm just moving my screens here and there. It's annoying.
I think it would be better, Ismeet, if we can show them how to start their MuleSoft journey by signing up to Anypoint platform as well.
Yes, I'm going to begin there. Let me just find my screen. Okay. I'm not able to find, oh, I found it now. Okay. So please give me a thumbs up once you see my screen. Great. Let's see how we start our journey. So let me go and like just type Anypoint platform, and then search for, just click the first or the second link, doesn't matter. Why is it? I'm gonna log out once.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how it should look like. Okay, I have a account already created for me, but since a lot of you are new, I will show you how to sign up for it first. MuleSoft provides us a 30-day trial where you almost get all the features on Anypoint platform. In a minute, we'll talk about what's Anypoint platform, what's Anypoint Studio, and everything. And you will be able to play around in that org. And you can create as many number of orgs as you want. Just make sure to use a different username each time. And with that, everything should be good. So whenever you go in and here and type like Anypoint platform login, it didn't work for me for some reason, but you land on a page like this. It'll ask you to sign in with your username password. But if let's say you do not have it, I would click on sign up, fill in my basic information, just, abc@gmail.com. Given your right emails because they need it. Anything ABC, you can just write your country, just write in anything, doesn't matter. All these information doesn't matter. Make sure to give in your right email address and choose the right username and password. Once you do that, you will be able to click on I'm not a robot, agree to it and create an account. It will create an account for you. I'm not doing it because I have like many accounts right now and I don't want to like go through the trouble of identifying which one is just a trial account and which one is it's a lot. So the next time you try to log in, you'll land up on the screen like this. You fill in information, click sign in. And right now, MuleSoft has an MFA mandatory. So you'll be able to authenticate your account with the Salesforce Authenticator app, just like you do it with any of your Salesforce orgs. Once you do that, this is what you land. This is where you land. This is Anypoint platform. This is one of the most important component of learning MuleSoft in general, MuleSoft integrations in general. This platform allows you to design your APIs, to host your APIs, to manage your APIs, to apply policies to your APIs. Now it also gives you an interface to go to your Composer and RPA instances. So basically allows you to create automations. It also takes you to the Exchange, which is, as I said before, the library of resources where you can reuse, share it, create your own resource, share it with your organization, with everybody else. It's a lot of things. So let's click on the hamburger on the left and go through almost each and every aspect one by one. So Anypoint Code Builder is the new IDE that MuleSoft has come up with. It's in beta. Right now, before last year, I think last year, Anypoint Code Builder started, last year beginning. So until 2023 or 2022 end, everybody was using Anypoint Studio, which is a platform, which is an IDE based on Eclipse, which you can download on your local machine free of cost and start developing your APIs. So you design your APIs here, but you implement all the logic of your APIs on your studio. These are the two components of MuleSoft, and learning MuleSoft and exploring MuleSoft. Now MuleSoft is coming up with a new IDE called Code Builder. I'm not going to go ahead and open it because first of all, it's going to take a little bit of time to prepare, and then I would save that for maybe a next session, and not today. Then we have under APIs, we have a couple of options. We have automations, runtimes, admin, all the access control and everything. So let's go ahead and start exploring Design Center first. Design Center is basically where you create your API designs. With what I mean by that is create your API interface, create your define your CRUD operations, define what your input output response looks like, define security strategies, define your responses that you want to send, any custom responses. This layer does not hold any logic on how the API is actually working, but it's just creating an interface of your API. And it's a very quick platform and a very quick way to create your outline structure of your API and being able to showcase it. So it allows you to mock your API service. So to your client who's a very business side of a person, you can show your APIs. You can just mock the get service, the post service, the put service, and show your mock or sample data as an input and an output. And this gives them a very good understanding of how their API is going to look like, how the structure is going to look like, how you would basically, it's a very good way to get all the feedback at a very early stage and showcase them what you're building and how you're building. We'll come back to it in a second. First, let's go ahead because we'll learn how to create that design. First, let's go ahead and explore Exchange. I spoke highly about Exchange. I should have opened it in a new tab, but it's okay. So on the left, you see there are all assets. And then there's TDX, which is like my business user. And then there's provided by MuleSoft and then shared with me. So you can have your assets divided in that sense. You can have assets published here, which is only going to be your organization asset, and you don't want it to be discoverable by any other organization or any other people. There are assets which are provided by MuleSoft itself, and you'll see there are like many, I don't know, like hundreds of assets. Then you have a shared with me, some assets which have been shared with you by an external external organization, and how you just scratch the last part, external organization. So let's look at provided by MuleSoft. In here, you can add in any filter. There are connectors, custom data libraries, examples, policies, API spec. There are a lot of varieties of assets which you can reuse. It's going to be difficult for us to go into each and every one of them and explore what it means, but let's explore a couple of them which are very important. So I spoke about accelerators and templates. Let's first explore that. So in here, you see so many assets which are ready to be used to be just downloaded and configured and customized as you need and deploy. So let's say you have a use case where you want to connect your S/4HANA Cloud to Salesforce for product migration. So I go in here and see like, yeah. So I go in here and see what does this use case mean? What does it say? And what are the considerations that it means? It has a very nice README document. And then you can just go understand this if this suits your need. Let's say this, no, this doesn't suit my need. I don't want to do this. Okay, no worries. Let's go back. Let's say if this one suits our need, Salesforce to S/4HANA cloud migration. I read through it. Yes, it suits my need. It's very good. It's very nice. It also gives us the information on how and where to download it, how to host it, how to configure stuff, how to run it on your studio, and what all configurations you need to have to be able to make this work. So it says all the configuration files that you need from your different providers. And with that, you'll be able to download it. You cannot download it directly from here. You'll have to go on your studio. Maybe if time permits, I can show you how to download these. But this is a very good use case of how you can reuse your assets, and you don't have to worry about. Yep, go ahead.
Just one thing I would like to add. Actually, you can download it from here. I think it's a new
Oh,
feature.
yeah.
Yeah, you can download the template and put it in your Anypoint Studio.
Yeah, thanks for that, Shubham. I think it gives you a jar file. So you can import jar files, and jar files are also deployable on MuleSoft. So I don't know what all format it allows you to download it in, but yes, thanks, Shubham, for that. Moving on, let's say we spoke about connectors, but what about other aspects? So we have something called connectors, which are out-of-the-box connectors, which allows and saves us to manage and create connections to third-party platforms. Let's say Salesforce, Amazon, SAP, MongoDB, Workday, as you can see, everything. So MuleSoft has a lot of connectors out of the box, which are very easy to manage. All you need to do is plug in your configuration details and just test it, and it allows you to work with it. So you don't have to worry about managing and making HTTP callouts, or having to first go out and dig all the APIs that you can use, and always be sure that whenever you're maintaining in the maintenance, whenever you're updating anything, or whenever your passwords or any configurations are being updated, you are it's very less error prone, I want to say. You can just put it all in one place and just change it at one place, and you don't have to worry about, oh my god, if my code is going to break. It's very easy to test. And let's say if there are some platforms to which you want to integrate, and they do not have out-of-the-box connectors, you can use HTTP connector and make HTTP callouts, or you can use your own SDK kit and build your own custom connector. MuleSoft allows you to do all of that. It is very flexible in that sense. You don't have to worry about not being able to find the connector. Most of them you'll find. I think there's hundreds of connectors available. And if you don't, you always have HTTP callouts, or create your own custom connector, and you can share it, you can deploy it, you can share it with other organizations as well. A lot of the connectors you'll find here are also community created connectors. So MuleSoft has a very strong community out of where Francis, Ryan, Diane, and everybody, a lot of people here are part of. All of them like try to enhance and make MuleSoft grow. So you can create your own connector with the help of community collaboration, and host it for everybody to use. You can do all that. You can also get your connector certified by MuleSoft. There are a lot of programs. Let's not go a lot more in details of it. It's going to take all of our time. And then we also have some data view libraries which you can use and ready to download and reuse. So that's that. Going back, we have API Manager. I'm trying not to overwhelm all of you, but let's just very briefly understand API Manager is a place where you can manage all your APIs. You can connect any API that you create and connect it with your API instance. Manage it from here, apply policies, apply different SLAs, create your, it also allows you to, okay, so MuleSoft offers a lot of out-of-the-box policies, but you can also create a custom policy. So as I said, MuleSoft allows you to do a lot of customizations and a lot of freehand to do whatever you want. I'm not going to go a lot more in details because it's going to be a lot and a very heavy session otherwise. With that, we have let's explore RPA manager. No, not RPA manager. Let's explore runtime manager. Runtime manager is important for us to explore because this is where we have environments, a design environment and a sandbox environment, and we can create as many environments as we need: dev, test, UAT, prod, whatever you want. And this is where you host your applications. Seems like my trial has ended, so that's why it's undeployed. But you can deploy your applications here, and it gives us multiple deployment strategies to deploy applications: Cloud of 1.0, Cloud of 2.0, on-prem, customer hosted, runtime fabric, on-prem bare metal, on-prem Kubernetes, a lot of strategies. So yeah, I just wanted to show you once here that this is where your applications live. It gives you status of the application, if it's deployed or not, the runtime version on which it's using, the last date of modification. And if I open it, it gives me all of the following. It gives me the dashboard where I can see the usage of my app, gives me some insights, all the logs, which I can see. I don't know why I can't see since my trial is ended. Sorry about that. If I have any object store, I can see it here, any queues related to it, any schedulers, and I can also update the settings. So let's say in the runtime settings, my runtime version, the channel, Java version. Now MuleSoft also supports Java 17 with the latest release. Yes, Shubham, go ahead.
Yes, so I just wanted to take a pause for a second and see if anybody has any questions, because I know it might be a little bit overwhelming for you folks.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat box, and we'll be taking them as soon as possible.
Also, the study group runs till 1:30 Eastern time. But I know Ryan will have to drop off soon, but it'll still be up. So you guys will, just give you a time check. Also, I always send a recap email after these. So if you want to direct message me, Whitney Akinola, with your email, I'll make sure that you get the recap. And that will also include the YouTube video. All right, thank you.
Okay, I think we don't have a lot of time. I'll quickly increase my pace. Yes, it gives us properties and everything. Now let's just get into the demo. Like, let me show you exactly how to create API specs and all, because otherwise it's gonna, we're gonna run out of time. So sorry, I went back to my design center and I clicked create, and I can create my fragments, async APIs. I can also import, but let's start with creating an API specification. I'm gonna name it as test one, I don't know, let's say integration quest demo, right? I'm going to use RAML 1.0. So MuleSoft uses RAML 1.0, RAML 0.8, OAS versions to create RAML specifications. I am comfortable with RAML 1.0, so I'll use that. But it gives you two options. You can either, if you're very comfortable with RAML 1.0, You can write it from scratch, all good. But if you're not comfortable, let's say I'm not comfortable with it, what I can also do is click on the Guide Me Through It tab. This will allow me to create my API from a visual interface. So I don't have to write my RAML, it will write the RAML for me. So let's say my new API title is Integration Quest API. I give it as a version 1.1. As you see, I'm not writing. On the right, it's writing the RAML for me. So if you're new to MuleSoft and you're worried about how you are going to write RAML, and sometimes the feedback I've received is a lot of people are scared of writing RAML. They don't get it at the first go. You don't have to. MuleSoft is allowing you to do all these configurations and to write your RAML for you. So let's say I want the protocol to be HTTPS. I want the media type to be application JSON. I don't want any base URL. I'm going to go to my left and start adding resources. So I click on plus button and I can choose what resource I want. I want get, and I'm going to say, let it be get resource. Then for response, I want to add some response. There's a 200 status, okay. I want to add a I want to add 403 forbidden, and I don't want to add anybody. If I want, I can add query parameters, and it will allow me to add any query parameters. Let's say I add ID, and I take the value as let's keep it string right now. And now I want to add one more resource. I'm going to do a post resource. On the right, you're seeing it's automatically populating everything for me. I'm not writing that RAML. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. Add a new response. I'll just add this here. Okay. No query parameter for me right now. And on the right, you see it has created a RAML for me. Now, one thing to note here, if you do not want to write your own RAML, even afterwards, you have to make sure you don't click edit RAML. Once you go and click edit RAML, you cannot come back to this interface. So do as much configuration as you want here before you move ahead to edit RAML. Afterwards, you'll have to write RAML. You cannot come back to this interface. Let's say I'm happy with my API. I'm going to go ahead and publish it to Exchange. Why do I publish it on Exchange? Publishing it on Exchange makes it discoverable to all my other colleagues in my organization. It makes it a reusable asset. You can also publish a lot of templates of how you want your ideal API specification to look like. And that allows you to reuse that template again and again, and you don't have to build a lot of settings each time you go ahead and try to create a new integration. You can just reuse that. So let's say here I have everything. I'm saying it's in a stable mode. I'm going to publish it to Exchange. It's going to take a couple of seconds. This will now make it discoverable. This is now published as stable version. So that means it's not in development anymore, and this is a final product. I also have to just show you one more thing, but let's wait for it to finish. Okay, so it says it's published in Endpoint Exchange. So let's go here and check my so it's going to be published in my TDX assets because that's my business group. And if you see here, my application, my API spec was published. Now, you can try them. You can click on get, you can try them, and you should be able to receive your response. So this is the place where I was talking about a very good interface for your business users to showcase how your API looks like. If I had populated all my request and response parameters, and if I had a basic structure of my outputs of my APIs, I would have put it here and shown them, okay, once you hit this, this is how you're going to hit it with all these parameters, and this is the exact output you're going to receive at the end. So this is a very good place to get a lot of feedback at a very early stage, and you can develop stuff in the parallel. So if I go to edit, yes. If I go to edit, I should see a interface like this. It allows me to create several files where I can create examples, samples, my response and request response and request parameters, my data structures, everything. And on here again, you can try it, you can mock it, and you can use it. So because I have time constraints, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to hand it over to Shubham to take it further in the demo.
Thank you, Smith. We do have one question in the chat, which says, based on our experience, what is an average ramp-up time for Salesforce devs to become well-versed and able to deliver a simple integration project? Assuming that they have already have integration knowledge as far as Apex Dev is concerned, and that we have technical architects that will support them. Do you want to take that?
Sure, yeah. So if you have technical expertise and you're just not used to MuleSoft, I don't think it should take a lot of time. With all these resources that we have available, you should be able to build simple integrations, I would say, depending on how much time you're able to give, maybe a week or two max. But we're talking about simple integrations where you're just not doing a lot of modifications, a lot of transformations. We are using simple data weave transformations. Should not be that bad of a timeline.
Having said that, there's like a slide that we have to get you all the resources to start your MuleSoft journey, but I will paste the Trailhead course that you guys can take to basically move faster.
Thank you, Shiva.
Yes, perfect. So thank you so much, Smith, for a introduction and telling the folks how to build an interface. And now we will be focusing on the implementation part, which is actually building the API in Anypoint Studio, which is their on-prem integration platform. So let me share my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
So the very first step is to actually download the integration platform. To do that, you simply go to Google, type in Anypoint Studio download, click on the very first link, and it will give you basically a form to fill. And then it will, you can simply click the download option. And based on your OS, it will download the zip file for you. Once you extract that, just set up your Anypoint Studio. The next step is to actually open the Anypoint Studio. So right now I have 7.16 version of Anypoint Studio. They have recently launched 7.17. So do check that out as well. Okay, so this is the interface. It's very, very similar to Eclipse, I feel. If you guys have expertise in Java development, this is very similar, I guess, to you folks. So the very first step is to actually import the API YAML that is deployed in Exchange. So to do that, this is the package explorer. We do right click here and then click new and select a Mule project. And here, if you see, you can download the YAML from Design Center. So I will go ahead and click that and click on these three dots. And oh, if you see here, we have the project name already, that is me deployed. So we'll be moving forward and selecting that API spec, and we will be giving it a project name. Let's go with IQ demo. And this scaffold flows means it will automatically create flows for you based on the resources that Smith has implemented, right? And once I click on finish, right now I haven't done any coding. I didn't even do any drag and drop functionality. As you can see here, we have the package already, Mule package ready. So in the main Mule folder, we have the um, basically the API RAML that Smith published. And this is the main flow. And here you can see we have the naming conventions as well. The first one is the integration quest demo main. Then we have the console. If you want to test your APIs, you can hit this console, API kit console, to basically implement or check or validate your APIs. It is very similar to Swagger. If somebody has used Swagger for their API testing, MuleSoft provides you that console as well. Then we have the two resources. We have the get resource that Smith created, and then we have the post resource that Smith created. In the get and post flow, we already have loggers in place. Loggers are basically help you to debug and log your flows. Having said that, let's try to basically enhance the, let's say, enhance the get resource. So we have a logger in here, right? What we can do if we want to build our flows, the first step is to right click on the folder. And before I do that, there are other folders as well. If you want to test your applications, we have a thing called munit to test resources. And we have all the connector configurations in here as well. We also have the POM XML. If you want to update your project description, you can simply click that and update it. So the first step is to actually create a Mule folder, I would say. So if you click on, I think this is the one. Oh no, sorry. Oh, Mule configuration file. And then we can say get config maybe. And it will create another XML for you. So what we will be doing here, we will be dragging one flow in here. So the flow is nothing but sequential actions. So if you basically, it's a core capability of integration platform. So here we call it flows. Other integration platforms might call it something else. So we simply drag and drop a flow. So this is a get config flow. And to call this flow from the get resource, we need to add like a flow reference. So flow reference, again, it's part of the Mule palette. They simply drag and drop the Mule flow, and you can select the flow name that you want this process to move forward with. So here you can see we have the get config flow already, and I'll just click on save. So the first step here is to log the message, right? And the next step is to actually go in that flow. In that flow here, we can do our data transformations, data manipulations, and basically provide our logic. So what I'll do is I will actually, the first step I would do is set a payload in here just to play around with it. So set payload is basically helps you to set a payload that will be used in the next step. So here the value is payload, but since we don't have any payload in the beginning, I will be setting up that payload here. So what I'll do, I will basically write in a simple JSON with the name, and then the next would be, let's say, company. Between two mules. So once the payload is set, we are ready to move forward to our next step. So the next step here would be very simple, very basic. I will put a logger in here and I will simply log the payload. As you can see, this logger has some configuration properties which you can set. In the message, what I can do is simply write payload, but this will not work since it's not an expression. To change the message to an expression, you need to click on this FX. So it will switch to expression mode. Now it will grab that payload value. So once this is done, so we will be setting our payload, which will be the name and the company, and then we are simply logging that to the API console. So I'll simply do this, just a basic flow. I want to show you guys how it works actually, because we are out of time, I feel. So now what I'll do, I'll try to debug this. I will have a breakpoint here. MuleSoft gives you a debugging properties as well. You can simply click on debug project IQ demo, and it will allow you to debug this particular flow, Mule flow. Yes, Ismi, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that maybe because we're short on time, we can show them this and then also show them the other demo that we created for TDX itself with the Jira connector and everything. Just run
Right.
them and walk them through. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I will do that. So if you see in the console, the project has been deployed successfully, and now you need an API client to hit this particular URL. So if you go to the listener, I would like to see my port. So the port is 8081. So if I go to my Postman, I use Postman. You can use another platform if you like. So you can actually hit the API via Postman. Sorry. So the URL would be localhost and the port would be 8081. I'll see if Ismi has set up any base path. So no base path. And for the resource, let me check the resource name. So the resource name is get Ismit, if I'm not wrong. And is there any API path? No API path, right?
No, just get dash resource. I think it should be API slash because the API router already created for us.
Slash resource. And is there was like any parameter that you also added?
Yeah, ID.
Okay, so I'll say ID and the value would be 1. Let's try that. And so I guess my URL is ready to be tested.
HTTPS protocol.
Okay. So if I click on send, is it get resources, maybe? The path?
It's get resource, but I think it should have been API slash get resource because API get router adds the API slash.
Then click on send.
Let me just verify one. I'll verify on the.
If I go to console, okay, everything has been started.
Yes.
It's taking a bit more time than anticipated.
Can you check on the listener ones? It's
Yes.
HTTPS, the one that you find. And it also has get.
Oh, it's HTTP
ID.
protocol.
Okay, and the ID with I should be small.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's HTTP actually, and the path is API dash get resource, and
And
the
the
ID
ID I is okay.
this one.
Yeah, HTTP. So it's just how you have to check to make sure you're hitting the right path and create it.
Right. Perfect. So we are actually here. As you can see, there was a debug point and the mule flow is started. And what we can do, we can step into the process. Okay, so the request was the query parameter was not specified, so it throw an error, which is good for us. And in the API console, we simply, in the API client, we get the message bad request. And maybe it's a string.
It is
So,
a string.
so I will try ABC maybe. Let's see if that works. No, there is an error. Required query parameter is ID. Oh, it's actually small I, not capital I.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks. So, okay, so this worked. So now we are in our resource. So we are in the get resource. And the very first step was actually logging. If you see the console, it did log the info log saying what was the resource name, get resource integration. And then we hit the flow reference. It will go to our main flow where we will be setting the payload in a JSON format. And if you see, there are variables and watches in here. And in the payload, you can see that it has a payload name Shubham and the company between two mules. And what we are doing is simply logging it. And once we hit step into, the flow has ended. And since we didn't convert it into application JSON, you get this Java dump, the hash map. Here we will see the name and the company. So what we can do quickly, we can update our flow and actually add a transform message, which helps you to transform to a certain MIME type. So I'll simply drag the transform message. And what I'll do is it gives you an option to convert to your desired MIME type. So I will simply change the output application to be JSON. And what I can do is I can create the JSON saying name 1 and comma company 1. So one thing I wanted to show you here is if I click on, or, I think I can show it later. So what I'll simply do is simply convert the payload in the application JSON format. So if I hit save, it should be, sorry, it should be saving the flow, and console will automatically rerun itself. Okay, so the console is up and running again. And what we can do is actually hit the API endpoint again via our API client. So going back to our Postman, if I hit the resource again, it will follow the same get flow. And then in this case, it will actually transform the payload. If you see in the payload variable, it actually got transformed from Java to application JSON. And once we log it, if you go back to the API client, you will see the result in application JSON format. So that was like a quick demo on how to get your feet wet with MuleSoft Anypoint Studio. I think, Ismi, we don't have much time to show them what we actually presented at TDX. Maybe it would be better if we move forward with our presentation, because we have the resources as well that we would like them to get a feel of.
The presentation, quick question, the presentation at TDX, you have a link to it. We can send it out if you want.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a very great point, Whitney. We will be doing that. We'll be sending the presentation to you folks if you guys would like to see what we actually presented at TDX. We basically used Salesforce connectors to create cases and accounts from Mule Anypoint Studio. And also, if there was any error in the Mule flow, it was actually creating a Jira ticket, so that like we can track the errors that were happening in Mule. So that was
Very
like
nice.
a real use case that we actually presented at TDX.
Okay, sure.
Go ahead, Whitney. You have a question?
Oh, I don't have a
Oh, no.
question.
Okay, perfect. So I'll stop my screen here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to use the chat. And Ismit, if you can point us to the correct resources on how to get started with MuleSoft, that would be awesome.
Okay. I'll, are you sharing the screen again for the PPT ones?
Yes, I will do that.
Great, thank you. So all the folks who are still here with us, thank you so much for that lengthy and bulky presentation. We tried to keep it as beginner friendly as we could, but sorry, our technicality comes running out. So if you have any questions, any further questions, do not hesitate to reach out to Whitney, Ryan, Diane, or directly to us on LinkedIn. Or you can also leave any comments on our YouTube channel, and we are very happy to talk about. We also take a lot of recommendations. So if you have any recommendations on any sort of videos or any content you want to see, we are very happy to take those recommendations and create content on that. Anything. Don't think of it as any wrong question. It's all good question and good feedback. With that, let's first go ahead and go through the link resources. So if you scan this QR code here, this will take you to the trailhead of how you can start your MuleSoft journey. So I'm sure a lot of you will have your Trailhead account. So just scan this link and it should take you to the Trailheads on how you can start your journey. I'll leave it up for 1 second if anybody is scanning. I think it was until 6th April, but now we don't know. So a lot of certifications and everything for MuleSoft trainings are moving from MuleSoft website to Trailhead. So we are waiting to hear on the new guidelines on how the certifications will take place in the future. But what we have confirmed is everything will be moving on to WebAssessor. So now you can take those certifications in an environment friendly to what you've been used to. And all the trainings and everything are going to be through Trailhead.
Perfect.
Shubham, let's go to the next slide.
Not this one.
Nope. Oh, I'm sorry. So the scan must have taken you to a Trailblazer community post. And my bad. That post will have a lot of links attached to it, along with our LinkedIn IDs, along with all the trailheads that you need to start your journey. And it will also take you to the Trailblazer MuleSoft forum, which not forum, group, where you will find a lot of more people like you and like us who can help you answer any of your questions and give you expert opinions. So if you are hesitant, you can also ask questions there. You can go and browse through the older questions and see maybe you have already questions answered. And with that, thank you so much for listening to our lengthy presentations. I will open the floor to question and answers.
Yes. And just FYI, I have pasted the link to that community post as well in the chat. If you guys would like to see that, you guys can.
Thank you, Shubham and Ismeet. You guys did a great job. It was very thorough. And I personally feel like this will be a way for ones that have attended and want to get into MuleSoft. They can look at this presentation and get a good understanding of it. And it'll be on YouTube. And so you can continue to share there, but I'm happy to meet you both. And great work on your YouTube channel.
Thank you, Whitney, for hosting us. It was lovely to be here.
No problem, no problem. Any other questions? Okay, well, if we can go to can you guys kind of go to the next slide? All right, you heard about MuleSoft RPA Lab. Basically, again, it's an entitlement that Integration Quest has bought, and they're willing to share. They have two options. You can try it out for 5 days, or you can try it out for a month. Next slide. And then we love to hear your success stories. We have built a community between our classes and the study groups. And if we've helped you, let us know about it. And we've had two success stories with Francis and Shayna, and now Ron too. Ron, we would love to get a testimony, a written one from you. But if you can, just send us a direct message on LinkedIn. Next slide. Oh, yeah. And tell your friends. And thank you.
I can
That's
definitely do
it.
that.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Of course.
And thank you again, our muley friends between two mules. It's nice to really, meet you guys. I do watch your YouTube channel, so to meet you. I guess I can go on camera. You want to stop
you.
the clouds?